Welcome to the Meydan Free Zone podcast, where we discuss the businesses that are changing the entrepreneurial landscape across Dubai and the UAE. I'm your host, Maria, and today we're talking about one of the most challenging aspects of e-commerce businesses, shipping and logistics. If you've ever struggled with high shipping costs, inefficient logistics, and complicated order management, then this episode is for you. Today, we are talking with Ali Javaheri, the founder of Shiplifier, a unified shipping platform that streamlines e-commerce logistics by offering multiple carrier integrations, optimizes order management, and has real-time tracking, all from one dashboard. Ali, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Ali, to get the conversation started, whenever we are talking about e-commerce, there's one big thing that we need to focus on, and it's, of course, the logistics, the fulfillment side of it, right? Can we discuss a bit about this problem and why logistics could be a potential barrier to growth?
I always say to any of my customers or anyone who wants to understand the logistics aspect, logistics or delivery is the last piece of your expense when you want to send out any parcels. Because when you have the parcel ready, you already calculated how much is the marketing going to cost. That's already a fixed cost, and then the packaging and the material itself. But then again, when the shipping cost is the last thing you need to pay, so any dirham or any dollar that you can save on that shipping fee, that comes back to your own pocket as well. So that will help. That's a deal breaker for any small to medium sized businesses that they want to grow. So if they can save as much money as they can with that shipping cost, it will help them grow their business and grow their sales as well. Because any money that they save, they can put it back into their production, back into their marketing. That will help them scale. But if the shipping cost is high, that's going to eat from their margin. They're not going to be able to grow with it as well, right? And then they're not going to have ability to sell more of those items.
I think at the beginning, especially when you're, let's say, an SME, there might be a bit of mismanagement. You might have not even noticed it at the beginning. When you're investing in the different departments of what you need to do, a lot of the times, especially with how many logistical providers there are around the world, not even just in the UAE, to focus on the ones that are trending the most, the big names, or at the very top, you want to go focus on, I'm not going to name any competitors right now, but I'm just saying, they'll look at what's online on Google, let's say, and maybe in the first page, you see all the main ones that are doing very well on SEO tracking, let's say. So when they're focusing, they'll buy that first at the beginning and unintentionally invest a lot of money in this one department instead of making sure that their logistics strategy is, cost effective, doing things correctly, and, not being overcrowded by all the noise that's present on Google. Because nowadays you can put any ads up, and if you have a really strong SEO tracking score, you'll be up there. But one of those things that I wanted you to highlight for our audience as well is, for a person that's starting their e-commerce business, what is one key thing that they need to notice or be so aware when starting to plan their logistics strategy?
The most important thing, in my opinion, as a SME who wants to start their e-commerce journey or the retailer journey, is have always a backup and not always have one courier company that deals with everything. As they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Because let's say, for example, if you dealt with one specific courier company and that courier company is just giving you that one rate, but you don't know if that rate is the best rate in the market or if that's their expertise or not, because each courier company has their strength and weaknesses, right? So when you want to start a business or you want to ship any product, it's always best to have different rates from different courier companies. But then when you want to do it yourself, it's time consuming. You have to go and negotiate all the rates with different couriers. You need to have a specific volume because not all courier companies
I was
give
about
you.
to say, some of them don't even deal with smaller players.
Exactly, because it's a waste of time for them. Like, okay, I'm not going to give you that much discount because you have like say 5 shipments a month or 10 shipments or whatever number of shipments you have. So when you come to a platform like Shiplifier, where we have done the negotiation for you, we've given you all the different courier companies that are in the market that will help you grow in specific regions. Just to give you an example, like a lot of companies, when they come to us, suddenly they have an international order. So when they have like a domestic courier company that you're using, then they start struggling. Oh, which one is the best international courier to use? So then they need to go and contact them. But with us, when they come to our platform, they get to see all that option already there. So that just saves them headaches, saves them time, saves them that investment of actually giving that deposit or actually forcing them to reach that threshold with the courier company in order to actually work with them. Right. So it's always best to have different options because you never know what happens in the logistics industry. A courier X might have the best rates, but then courier B has the best service. So you get to pick and choose which one you like, and it's always best to have options. Just don't have one courier company that deals with all the logistics aspect for your business.
And that brings me to my next question, to our audience that might not know who Shiplifier is or actually understand what you mean in terms of you negotiating. What does Shiplifier do and what gap are they trying to fill within the market?
For sure. So what Shiplify is, in essence, we are a web-based application where we provide discounted rates with different courier companies. As I was mentioning earlier, we don't have one courier company. You get to use all different courier companies that we have on our platform, and those courier companies are at a discounted price. So we are giving you the wholesale price for retailers. Like if you're shipping, let's say one shipment, two shipments, five shipments, you still get the benefit of having a discounted rate regardless of your volume. And the beauty of our platform is that you get all the couriers depending on whatever service you like, whether you want international, you want same day service, a next day service. All of that can be present with our platform without the need of actually opening an account with all those couriers. So you come to our platform, as simple as put the sender receiver information, put the weight of your parcel, and we give you a variety of courier companies that you can pick and choose from. And the best part is that courier company will come and pick up the parcels from you. And then on our platform, you get to track it, you get to analyze whatever orders you have, and then process all the orders from there.
And what is, the benefit of having, because the dashboard for Shiplifier has a lot of different, integrations and a lot of features. What is the benefit of having this? And can you explain a few of the things that are included in the dashboard?
So what we have is obviously the different variety of couriers company. We have the technology that helps you automate your orders, especially if you have, like, let's say, an online store, you want to integrate it. We have that integration
So is
aspect.
this with the fulfillment or the order tracking and things like
Exactly,
that?
exactly. So you get to track, you get to integrate your online store, and then from there you get to automate your orders. Because the most important thing for businesses or SMEs is that it's time consuming. They need to process the order, they need to pack the order, they need to ship it, and then the most annoying part is actually tracking the order and communicating with the rider or the courier company. Where is my shipment? Where is it coming? Where is it? Getting the actual information of it. But with us is once they fulfill the order, they have a page where they can track the page automatically. And then on top of that, we as Shiplifier, but we are the one who tracks the product. So our team, we have a dedicated team that constantly follows up on all the orders and then notifies the customer about what's happening. So the customer is relaxed. He doesn't need to constantly stay on the phone and call the courier company.
And I think as well, one of the things that the client doesn't have to stress about is forming strategic partnerships with logistics companies. Because when it comes down to e-commerce, one of the key things is to have strong relationships with reliable logistics and fulfillment service providers. And if they don't need to be doing that, as we mentioned earlier, sometimes bigger scale courier companies that, might be the best equipped to do, let's say, your international shipping, but because you're such a small one, really, it doesn't make sense for them to take you on or even take your call. When you have someone that's already liaising that partnership or that connection, it makes it a bit easier because that big player will say, oh, I know Ali from Shiplifier. Okay, it's a person from their platform. We can assist them. It's fine. We have this amount of space in this aircraft. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of logistics, but you know what I mean, Whereas instead you'll have an SME founder or someone from their logistics department trying to manage all of that internally and potentially facing a lot of no's. That adds delays. Then they end up going with someone that might not be the best, service provider for them. And now that deteriorates their entire logistics strategy.
On top of what you mentioned is that, especially let's say for example for SME, they're doing an online store, right? And they're shipping domestically. But then when they want to ship internationally, they need to negotiate with another courier. Now with them, they're going onto three different platforms, which is their online store, they're going to their domestic courier company, and their international. So they're maneuvering between three different pages, and that's just time consuming for them. And then when they want to track it, they need to go on two different platforms just to track it, the domestic and the international. But then when they come to Shiplify, we just made their life so much easier and quicker, where they have the integration done, they have their domestic and international order all on the same page. So when the SME owner, he wakes up in the morning, he wants to process or track his shipment, he just has one page to look at and that's it, which is the Shiplify dashboard. He gets to process the order and look at the tracking from there. So he doesn't need to look at different websites, different pages, because then if they do that, it's going to cause human error at the end of the day, right? Maybe they misplaced a shipment, or maybe they forgot to track that order, or maybe they forgot to put the information correctly. You never know what might happen. But once you centralize all of that into one specific page, so the owner has so much more focus on that page, he can process everything, and obviously it saves him time so he can focus on different things, which is the most important thing for their business, is that marketing and then selling their products.
And one of the questions I also wanted to ask you, I mean, I order quite a few things from overseas and from e-commerce platforms. But at the end of the day, when you're a client, an e-commerce business owner that's either importing goods, from overseas to sell in the local market here, or from here to sell out overseas globally, there's a consideration when it comes to, customs taxes, duties. How does that work when it comes to e-commerce and using Shiplify to leverage that? Because, all countries have a different situation. UAE as well has its 5%, if I'm not mistaken, duties.
Yeah, so within UAE, anything that's below 1,000 dirhams has subject to 5% VAT. There's no duties on that if it's below 1,000 dirhams.
And then above.
Anything above 1,000 dirham is subject to 5% VAT and 5% duties.
Oh,
That's
got you.
that's on every product, right? So with us, we don't give that headache to the customer. We just tell them if you wanted to pay for the duties and taxes, that's no problem. We just inform them about what is the percentage that they need to pay, and we educate the customer. Because what I felt like when I first started Shiplify is that the lack of knowledge, because a lot of people don't know what they're doing because they're so used to the certain way on to ship a product that they lack that information or that knowledge.
But on top of that, logistics requires cross-border transfers as well.
Exactly.
So a person might know everything about Dubai or in
But
the UAE,
internationally, you
but
might not
and
know.
maybe the GCC, but beyond that area, they might not know what the duties or the cost of
100%.
exporting to the US or to Canada or to Europe might be.
100%. So that's why when we come into play, like whenever they want to ship anything internationally, the beauty of our partners that they have is they handle everything from A to Z. So all our service is door to door. When you ship anything international, you don't need to worry about a single thing. Just give that parcel to the courier and he takes care of it from A to Z. And then while doing so, the business owner is so much relaxed. He's not worried about okay, what's gonna happen. And then they know upfront onto how much they should expect on duties and taxes because because we educated them from before, right? And we told them that this specific parcel, if you're sending it because of this value, because you're going to this country, this is how much it's going to be going, right? So that's something that um, helps the business owner into how much they should anticipate the prices be. Obviously, whether they wanted to them they take it themselves or obviously give it to the receiver. Most important thing is the education to the business owner, so they're not blindsided.
And that comes down as well to strategic partnerships. Within Shiplify, you have someone that can train and assist you, give you all the knowledge that you need. When, especially, I think when, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you're doing internal, logistics within a country or within a region, it might be a little bit easier, but as soon as you start crossing a certain threshold, then it does have a lot of complications or things that you have to understand. And different career providers might not be giving you the full story. You might be a number, you might be a client, but overall, this is your order. Okay, we've done this, pay us. Nothing else. Or it got lost. Or this happens. But I think with Shiplify, there's a support network in the sense that they give you not only the knowledge needed to have an efficient e-commerce business from the logistics and fulfillment side, but also understanding how that works and understanding how it can be also a cost-saving strategy. And with that, I wanted to know from you, Shiplify always says that they can assist in, helping scale the business and also cost save. How is it that companies can benefit from Shiplify services and get discounted shipping? Is it that whole courier connection where you have a lot of people?
Exactly, because as I mentioned earlier, the shipping cost, anything that we can save for the business owner, will go down to their pocket. Hypothetically speaking, they can put it into more marketing, into more improving their packaging, improving their product production, all of that. So we've seen throughout the years, like the 2 years that we've been operating, that we've seen an exponential growth of customers when they start using us. From, for example, like let's say a year ago to now, we've seen an exponential growth in terms of their numbers of shipment that they're doing, just because and throughout the year, let's say we've saved them X amount of money, that money they would have put it in their pocket or even add it to their production line. Like we had an example where a customer, when they started with 5 orders a month, 10 orders a month, and then slowly now they reached 100 150 orders a month. And that just shows you that it's having an extended arm, because we tell our customers that we are your extended arm, that to help you with the shipping, to help you with managing everything. And you see that growth, because once they see that growth, it's like a win situation for both of us, because that person actually starts having more sales and grow their business, and we will be getting more business from them as well. So that's the relationship that we like to build with our customers.
And can we discuss a little bit about how clients that use Shiplifier actually benefit or get the discounts? Because I know you negotiate on behalf of them, but how does it actually pan out?
What we've done before even starting Shiplify is like we negotiated rates with the courier companies based on the volume that we have. So the courier gave us those discounted rates, and then we gave that to our customers.
Kind of seen as like a mass exporter,
Exactly,
importer. And so they're
100%.
using your quantity instead of looking at the individual
Exactly.
ones.
Exactly. This is why whenever a customer wants to use our service, all they need to do is just create an account rather than having a contract and then putting a deposit. No, once they create an account, they get the variety of the courier companies with us and obviously with those discounted rates. And it's free of cost.
See, you guys should take benefits of this. Even if you don't know anything about logistics or you haven't even started an e-commerce business, I think it'd be great to just go onto the platform, understand what's going on there, and see how you can benefit from it. Because I think sometimes there's already businesses, especially in the e-commerce space, they're already too far in. So either they've already been locked down by, let's say, courier providers that might not be giving them the optimum prices or the optimum rates at the end of the day. But because they've been running now for about 5 to 10 years, they have a relationship there. They're like, it's okay. I'll carry on using them. So I would really recommend, and I'm sure you would as well, especially to our audience that is considering or has just started an e-commerce business, go get a new account on Shiplify's webpage and then just explore. You don't have to get the service, just explore it.
100%. And what's nice about our platform is that it's designed mainly for e-commerce businesses or retailers. But even if an individual wants to ship anything to their loved ones, let's say, or
But
ship
really, as
internationally,
individuals.
yeah, it's fine. Whether you're individual or business, you can also use Shiplifier because it's not restricted to anyone.
Oh, I see. See, here I'm thinking a lot of people should just have a business, but no, that's even more exciting. And I like to think we've had this discussion before, but I like to think that Shiplify is the logistics equivalent of, like property pages where you have a property finder or like Dubizzle. Everything is on there. You find the best rates, but in this case, it's logistics.
Exactly.
And the fact that it's for both individuals and corporate, that's so exciting. Now I'm going to be using you guys instead of going directly at them.
Yeah, because that's the thing, and it's a convenience at your doorstep. Like you don't need to go to the courier themselves and deposit the parcel or wait, or like, you have to carry it and go to their warehouse X, Y, and Z. You just process it on the platform and then wait for the courier to come. They pick it up from wherever you are and then ship it out.
And that's really exciting. And that's why I'm also so excited for the Meydan Free Zone partnership with Shiplify because realistically, for me, now, I mean, I don't have a business right now, but in my mind, I use a lot of courier services because I need to, send stuff to my family overseas and things like that. And the fact that now I can have it all under one like platform and I can see, oh no, maybe this one's not gonna, that's too expensive. This one, oh, it says it's gonna take 20 days instead of the other one that says 7. It's a really good platform where I can do comparative research and make the best informed decision. And if I can do it as an individual, I think it'll be incredible for our businesses.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, we all want the best price. No one wants to pay a premium for something that they could have paid a lesser price for it. So that's why when you have it all in front of you, then you get to do the choice of, okay, which one do I want to go with? If I need an express service, I'll go with the express one. If I'm not in a hurry for it, let me just go with the normal one, and I get to see the prices and then enjoy it as well.
I did want to check with you though, from your experience, what have been the biggest challenges or pitfalls that you've seen from e-commerce businesses?
The biggest challenge that I've seen was the lack of knowledge about what shipping industry is or how does the shipping work. Because as we all know, the e-commerce industry in UAE or in the Middle East, it started in the mid 2000s. It's comparing it obviously to North America and Europe. It's been there since the 1990s, right? So there's at least like 20 years gap of it, right? When I researched about it and when I entered the logistics industry in UAE, I saw it was a bit backdated. Everyone's so used to like calling everyone on WhatsApp, messaging them on WhatsApp, hey, please come pick up this parcel from me. Oh, they want to just talk to the driver. They didn't understand how logistics in general worked as an e-commerce. And then obviously the shipping label, they didn't know how to print it. They don't care about the shipping label. They used to just put sticky notes. Packaging wasn't done. Obviously there are a few exceptions. There are a few brands that obviously know what the industry looks like and how the shipping works. But the biggest challenge was like for those small businesses, let's say Instagram sellers, people who sell on Instagram, people who are opening their businesses from the house, they lack that knowledge. So when we first initially started, we were taking a lot of time and educating the customer. Please, there's a shipping label that's important. that's digitalizing the industry and how to choose different courier companies, that you don't need to constantly message on WhatsApp. You just look at the platform, everything's there for you. So that way it eases their process to do it. So that was the biggest challenge for us. Just the giving them the knowledge of how the shipping industry should look like and how we want them to go. And because once they know how things should go and it's related to the digital world, it's going to scale their business much higher.
Course, and I think especially from around the time that COVID, was at its peak, a lot of people decided to, had they not had an e-commerce business, or maybe they already had a physical one, but they never considered of taking it online. And those that were considering one, they all did do that migration. Most of them did do that like push towards going digital and investing more on how to actually send their stuff across borders or just literally across door to door at that point. And not only in the UAE, on a global scale. So I know e-commerce has risen exponentially since that era. But I think with that, there was such an immediacy that, let's all get online, that, like you said, there was a lack of understanding of all the aspects that go in. And especially in a region such as the GCC, there are a bit of like delays in certain points. Now we're far ahead beyond every 2 years, there's incredible growth and exponential. And even actually month to month, there's incredible growth and, redirections that are, especially in the UAE. But over the past, let's say 20 years, like you mentioned, there were countries that were at that point more advanced in terms of e-commerce. And now we're becoming one of the most leading, regions and also one of the leading countries with e-commerce. So to be able to leverage that and use partners like, Meydan Free Zone and Shiplifier to understand that there's supporters as well that can assist you to not only grow your business, but, understand how you can scale it in the future, I think is great overall.
Because as you mentioned, like it's growing, right? And it's growing in a rapid way. Like if you look at it from the past 2 years to now, the e-commerce industry in the UAE has risen exponentially. And that just shows how equipped the country is and how equipped everything is to adapt to that e-commerce lifestyle. Right. So this is why we saw like the need to have such a thing to help even e-commerce businesses into going digital, into digitalizing the whole delivery service for them. And then just help them grow as well with whatever is happening right now.
So you'd already mentioned that there was a company that you saw that grew and by their orders and, in size over time. But can you tell us maybe of another success story, something that you saw specifically Shiplifier's efforts and assistance, whether it was through the, negotiations of who's the best courier or logistics and all the other aspects that you saw them do so well with your services?
So we had also one of the case studies, hypothetically speaking, is that one big customer came to us and they had an urgent deliveries to be done. And that thing, it required different courier companies to be delivering. If
Why would it require different
because
couriers?
it was for a special event, and then that special event required a same day delivery, required a refrigerated delivery, and required like a 45-minute
Okay,
delivery.
so different kinds of
Different kind of
shipments.
deliveries. So if they wanted to do that themselves, they had two options: either go and negotiate that with all the courier companies, but then again, it would take them a week or 10 days, but they needed it instantly, or they needed to hire a driver themselves, which is going to be so costly to go around. But then when they came across to our platform and we've talked to them, they were like so impressed by it because as soon as they saw the service, they were ready to start. They were like they could have easily started using us right away. And that's what happened is like once we promoted Shiplifier to them, we proposed to them the different courier companies that we have, the different options we can have for your deliveries. They were so impressed by it that they started using us right then and there for their specific events. So because we're instant, like you can start instantly using Shiplifier, so you don't need to wait for a contract
There's
approval.
options for same day delivery as well.
Exactly. We
Of
had
course, depending on the situation.
exactly. So that's why for their specific case, they needed those three services, and we have those three services ready for them. So we saved them so much time, so much money, and we got the job done for them.
And again, it comes down to, you might not know who does refrigerated courier services. So the fact that they can go on there and see all of the variety, the different kinds, you also, I'm assuming, support it depending on if it's like by pallet or crate or, like what's it, containers. So there's a lot of diversity of options, not only for the smaller players that are just starting with e-commerce, but also for larger scale companies.
Especially when it comes to like, let's say you're a cosmetic seller online, right?
Because I'm a lady. I'm joking. That would probably be what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
anything cosmetics, you have a one specific courier that delivers for you, right? But then again, Dubai summer is very hot, and then when they want to deliver it in a normal courier, everything gets melted because of the heat. So they need refrigerated. So then again, you need to also negotiate with that. But then with Shiplify, you get that option automatically on the dashboard.
So an exciting thing that we can also talk about today is, the development of AI and the growth of it and how it's impacting or maybe benefiting the logistics industry overall, especially when it comes to e-commerce. We've talked about all of the integrations that Shiplify has on its dashboard and how it assists so many clients with its platform. But how has Shiplify leveraged AI? And also, I'm curious to know, where do you think AI will go for the logistics industry? What will it do to it?
No worries. So what we've leveraged in AI in terms of Shiplify is obviously we've adapted it to our platform in a sense where we get that real life tracking. That helps with it as well with the AI. And second of all is we've added a new feature that we're developing actually in house where that gives you you know how like ChatGPT works, where like you ask any specific question and that person answers you. We've enabled that part into Shiplifier, where you can ask any specific question to how do you want to process a shipment. That person follows with you like throughout the platform. Or for example, you want to ask a question, how do I want to import or export? What are the rules and regulations for it? That person answers everything for you. So we're incorporating somewhat into the AI world, into Shiplifier, but then obviously I feel like AI is going to be something very important in our life later on, especially with the introduction of drones, shipping, drone deliveries,
Yeah, I know
and
the UAE wants to start
yeah,
doing
the drone
drone
deliveries and
deliveries.
whatnot. With us, what's nice about Shiplify is we're very agile. Like we move in an agile way where like we incorporate anything new that happens as well. So I do believe that the AI is going to help our logistics industry even higher, especially with like the self-driving cars, the drone deliveries and whatnot.
But even in terms of system processes, I think, like the automations of certain things, like you have the real time tracking
Mhm.
that requires a certain level of intelligence,
Exactly.
from a digital perspective as well. So I think not only from, the actual delivery point, but the management of the whole operations
Exactly.
efficiency.
As a backend way, yes, we need a lot of AI, and we've incorporated that, and we're actually developing our platform to even be more AI friendly, I say.
And speaking of AI, but then moving it on to also, I think AI does a lot of immediacy and helps a lot of businesses optimize their operations. But I also know clients themselves expecting to receive something want it right now. We get everything on our phone right now. We want to, if I order something and it takes more than 20 minutes, it's already irritating me. And that's a really bad problem, but it's a reality because we're so used to getting everything the second we order something online. And with that being said, logistics also carries a bit of that burden of delivering in a time span that won't irritate the client and also won't make the actual e-commerce company look bad. What is your opinion on, the trend for express shipping and that immediate delivery, maybe that last mile 20-minute delivery?
So, as you mentioned very well, like here we just want everything quick,
Because we
express.
can get it so quick. That's the
Exactly,
problem. So
exactly.
everyone.
And since we saw that, so obviously, as I mentioned to you earlier, with Shiplify, we're very agile. We like to introduce things as they go, whatever the customers need, whatever the market needs, we try to incorporate it, and that's what we did. We've incorporated a service which is a 45 to 60-minute delivery within UAE. So for any VIP clients that you have, for any specific urgency or any urgent deliveries, we've had that service that incorporates that 45 to 60-minute delivery from the moment you've ordered it. So from the moment you place the order to the moment of delivery, it shouldn't exceed 45 to 60-minute delivery. And that we saw that a lot of customers are happy with that service just because it's it made their life easier, and and actually it elevated their brand even more, because they go like, oh wow, you're such a cool brand that delivers in 45 minutes. But and then it just elevates their sales as well. So we like to help, and as I mentioned earlier, we are an extended arm for the SMEs to help them grow, to provide to promote them in the best way possible as well.
Especially for those companies that, like we were mentioning earlier, they need delivery, because it comes through orders. Like maybe it's a food delivery, a restaurant, a grocery shop. Maybe it's a small actual shopping, like a retail shop. They need to be able to, if they don't have the capacity with their current, let's say they already have current drivers or something like that, they need to be able to get someone quickly on the go. Just because they don't have enough drivers doesn't mean that that client who's a paying customer and has already put their order through shouldn't get it at the same time that the others are getting it. So I think that's really helpful as well, because maybe for 1 month, you mentioned earlier, there was a client where they had an insane amount of orders on the one day and they couldn't get support on it because they didn't have enough operational support or tools and resources. So the fact that people can plan and then also have a backup if they're not already using Shiplifier, but have Shiplifier as a backup as well to help them support, you know, any ad hoc emergency increases of orders or needs and supports of importing and exporting is really great and prevents halting operations indefinitely.
Because at the end of the day, as a receiver, you don't care how you receive the
Yeah, as
package.
a client,
You
like
just
you
want
just
you
want
just
it.
want to receive it. But then it's the job for the business owner, or as they say, the shipper, to make sure that okay, that thing gets delivered. So if he gets an influx of orders, or he has an emergency order and he's not prepared for it, it can affect his brand heavily. But again, we come back to the point where when you have different variety of couriers or different variety of services that you can utilize in your platform, it helps your business easier because then you're prepared for anything that can come to you, right? If you want that instant delivery, it's there. You want the international, it's there. You want the 45-minute delivery there, the same day. So it encompasses everything that you might face in that logistics aspect. So you have it all ready for you. So you shouldn't be worried about what the customer might need or what the receiver might need to give them the best service possible.
And does Shiplifier support, and let's say in the sense that one of the career companies that you connected to an e-commerce founder, let's say they lost the package. So it's not Shiplifier's responsibility to know about that, but they support in that because let's say you've gotten an international bigger company to do an international logistics and it got lost. Shiplifier assists in that liaising and communication, or will it become then, the courier provider and the client speaking?
No, we take care of everything. So as soon as any order gets processed on our platform, we are the people, sorry, who handles it. Like whether you want to track it, whether there's a claim that needs to be done, follow-ups, all of that is done through our team to avoid that headache for the business owner. Because as I mentioned, we are the extended arm for the business owner, and we don't want them to go through the headache of communicating with the courier, staying on the line, sitting, calling, talking customer service. It's a burden for them. So this is why we took that burden from them, and then we told them to focus on the sales and marketing of your business, and we take care of all that nitty gritty things.
You wouldn't be the importer of record, or would you be? It
No,
would be
it's
the
it's them,
company.
but
Yeah.
we're gonna be like the account holder,
Yeah.
let's say.
Basically, you are the outsourced logistics department for the
Exactly.
company,
We're the
which
pr-
is really
we are the
great.
people who takes the headache and the blame.
Exactly.
That's it.
No, but that's great because, like we said earlier, there's a lot of things that sometimes people underestimate or don't really take into account until it actually happens. And normally when it happens, it's already a crisis and it's too late. And if you can save by not having to be at that point, lose money, waste time, then also have a poor review maybe with a client because, e-commerce, all of our Google star reviews and Yelp reviews and everything, it does matter. So to have a logistics partner in a way that can help automate that, help support all the, real-time tracking, make sure that the communications between the couriers, the multiple couriers that you might need, or maybe just that one is, streamlined and efficient is really great overall. And just, because you have a lot of experience with this, I did want to get your opinion on, what are the three main things that you would advise any e-commerce business owners that are about to start or have just started, three things that they need to really have nailed down before they start, any logistics part of the business.
The first thing is obviously make sure that you have the packaging done, because as we all know, whenever we receive anything in our doorstep, the unboxing experience is the nicest thing, and that just elevates your brand. So make sure you have a good packaging for it and agile. Second thing is making sure that you are connected with a good courier partners, because this can be a deal breaker for you. This can make it or break your business, right? That's the most important thing. And obviously having good relationship with the customers and have a communication with them. And the reason why I say that is a lot of the business owners, what they do is they expect that as soon as the customer places an order and they ship it out, that's it. I don't have to deal anything with it. But as a business owner, you need to somewhat build a relationship with your receivers to make sure that, please, there's a shipment coming. Did you receive it? Did you not receive it? Is there any? Do you like it? Having a relationship with the receiver just makes the delivery process so much easier and makes the customer anticipate that there's a delivery coming for them. So I feel like these three are the most important things, because one, if the unboxing of the packaging is not done right, the person's not gonna buy from you again, right? And then if the delivery
Unless the product is incredibly good
incredibly, then
that they
that's
don't care.
yeah, that's
But if
different.
it is something that you can get from a different provider,
Exactly.
then I may as well go for the different provider.
100%. Like for example, I give you an example. To me, whenever I buy anything from Apple, I'm just so excited and mesmerized by the
To just
packaging.
remove all
Just
the little
yeah,
strips.
that small thing. I'm like, I love that. You know. So
Even though they keep making the same
same
variations every
thing,
year.
but I go like, I want to buy it again because of the unboxing experience, right? And then to me, even if they took 4 days to deliver instead of 1 day, I'm still gonna be excited for the unboxing. So that just gives you some sort of like loyalty to that brand. Second thing is the delivery, obviously, and then the third is that relationship with the customer. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it comes down to, having a strong brand positioning as well. And it's from the actual product to the packaging to the full service of delivering it, the client having a good experience with that, and also having their feedback considered as well, whether it's positive or negative. And even if it's automated messaging, we're so happy you've received our package. Please let us know your feedback. You don't have to have a one-on-one, DM conversation, but having those open communication channels for the client to be able to speak to you, and whatever reason, maybe the courier that you got was great, but the package arrived and everything is broken. At that point, what do? You need to be able to speak to them.
Yeah, and you don't want, like for example, as a receiver, I don't want to communicate to the brand and then just be directed to the customer service or wait for like
Or
an
not
hour.
customer service, please press
Press
1.
one. Yeah, that is just like, I just feel like I'm talking to a robot.
Yeah.
And as even if the product is nice, if I want to give my feedback whether it's good or bad, I want to talk to a person. So building that relationship with the receiver is very important.
And I think it's even more critical when you're a smaller business.
Exactly.
Because when you're a larger business, I think, unfortunately, larger scale corporations can get away with, having that automated system
Mm-hmm.
because they have a lot of clients. It's a
Exactly.
huge load. But when it's a small business, you need to make sure you stand out, and customer service, packaging, the actual delivery of products, especially in the e-commerce, is so important at the
Yes.
end of the day.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have a poor impression of you.
No, obviously, because especially as you start, you need the first impression counts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, if your first impression is not good and you're not consistent, you're not gonna get any more sales. They go like, okay, I bought once, I'm not gonna buy anymore.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, if you're a small, let's say, jewelry outlet that has only been live for a year,
Yeah.
and you're giving me to a robot
I don't
on the
trust it.
side, I'm confused.
Exactly. That's one thing that I realized when I coming back to a question that you asked about the how it started, what was the difficulties. One of the major difficulties, like what I realized even in the e-commerce industry, is like a lot of people don't trust it.
Oh no, I
That
get so angry.
yeah, they don't trust it. Like they go like, oh, are you a legit company or are you not a legit company? Are you a scammer? Are you not? So that aspect was it's very common, and that was like I was like, why is that happening? They don't trust the e-commerce industry, so that was also a gap. So coming back to the point where like once you have a communication, they go like, okay, I know that this company is actually a proper
Mm-hmm.
company.
And there's a lot of scammers. So to be able to make sure that you look legit
Legit, you
at
should
the
be
end of
there.
the day is already one of the basics. You should
Exactly.
not be looking like all the different dot random
Exactly.
domain at the
No.
end. But I did want to highlight as well the partnership between Shiplifier and Meydan Free Zone. I know from my side, we're super excited to have you onboarded, and we're so excited for our clients to take benefit of this, especially those that are entering the e-commerce space. Like we've mentioned some of the topics earlier, there's so many different things that they need to consider. And the fact that with Shiplifier, they can get that support they need, the education they need, and manage everything from A to Z with your platform is really great for us as well, since we, prioritize digitalization, efficiency of operations. And at the end of the day, what we want is getting things operations ready. And I think this partnership really does help, especially our e-commerce businesses, get operations ready from the get-go.
Likewise, I'm really excited for this partnership, and I'm excited for it to help those Meydan Free Zone customers and to flourish all of them into the e-commerce industry as well, and to help them grow as well.
To our audience, thank you so much for joining me today on the Meydan Free Zone podcast. I have no doubt that you gained invaluable insights from Ali and understood all the different things that Shiplify is helping e-commerce businesses in managing their logistics, fulfillment, and all of their order management. Until next time, please join me on listening to more industry leaders that are shaping the UAE business landscape.